Hey, how's it going everyone? This is going to be a beginner-friendly solo zul'farrak guide for Warlocks. First off, let's start with the gear. As you can see, I'm packing up on stamina, intellect, and spirit. There are some cheap options in the auction house, such as the night sky set, but basically it's either of the eagle or of the whale gear. The main reason you're gonna stack up on stamina is because early on getting into the graveyard zone is quite challenging. Let's look at the talents. I put 5 out of 5 Demonic Embrace. I know this reduces our spirit, but spirit does not help us if we die on the way inside. Improved Void Walker for some extra safety measures, also improved Health Stone. These talents are helping us to get into the graveyard zone. 5 out of 5 Cataclysm, so we have a cheaper Rain of Fire to deal with the mobs. Sadly, Aftermath doesn't work with Rain of Fire, so it's just to spend the points. The next row is basically the same, just to spend some points. Basically what we needed from here is Destructive Reach, so Rain of Fire can reach further. Pyroclasm is also nice because if a mob gets stunned, it will eventually get another tick of damage without getting out of Rain of Fire. But we will get into that. Stack up on as many soul shards as you can because they will come handy, trust me. To get to the graveyard zone, you're gonna buff up first. Use Demon Armor, you can conjure a Spell Stone, which if you wait for the cooldown, you can pop right before you start the run and then put on your staff back on. This will be just enough absorption for a Shadow Bolt, which some of these mobs cast. Also, you can pop a Soul Stone in case you would die on the way inside. This can be a really good safety measure so you can continue where you left off. You also need your mount for this run obviously, but you can get that from the trainer from a simple quest and Ratchet, so you don't have to worry about that at all. I also recommend buying a lot of superior healing potions. They are really cheap in the auction house. But before you start running, pop the shadow ward you have, as I did in the video, get on your mount and follow my route. As you are running, you always have to face the mobs that are going to hit you. This is crucial for the run, because if you don't, you will get dazed and you will die for sure. You can also reset on the wall here if you feel like you are being hit too hard, but I do not recommend doing that because getting on your mount without aggroing any mobs can be really tricky. Now obviously we are level 40 here, we are getting a lot of damage, so I'm pre-popping my health stone so I don't die to hits. Once you get to the first safe zone, dismiss your Void Walker. We could have used the Void Walker for sacrifice so we have a lot of absorption, but we didn't have to do that now. So these two block of stones are our first reset spot. And I am going to show you guys here that even if a petrol aggroes you, like this, you can always do line of sight behind these blocks. Sometimes this will go through, then go to the other block and you should be fine. When some mobs drop down a totem, you don't have to worry about those either. They will despawn after a while. So once you leave combat, eat and drink up to full. When the petrol is gone, come out behind the reset spot, summon your Void Walker. The reason we can't summon our Void Walker inside the reset spot is because the Void Walker would get stuck there and probably would also aggro some of the mobs. So pop Shadow Ward, get on your mount and follow my lead. This Vase is going to be our next reset spot. This is an optimal one. You don't have to do this. This is basically for cases where you get really low and you have no choice but to reset. You also need to dismiss your Void Walker for this spot as well. This can be a really bad reset spot if there is a patrol coming up your way. Fortunately, when I was recording the video, this happened to me. So when you see a patrol coming up, it's okay. They are not going to hurt you because they will not come up to you even though you are in combat. So basically what you're going to do is get to full HP, fear this guy and run to the next reset spot by foot. In optimal cases you can just come out behind of the Vase and get on your mount and run to the next reset spot. Or, as I said, you don't even stop here and you go to the next one right off the bat without stopping here. You can rebuff yourself, create a new health stone, and once you feel comfortable with your HP, you can fear the mob and run to the next spot. You are going to see in the video that I am making a lot of mistakes, but that's fine. We are just level 40, we have our safety measures, and to be completely honest, this was my second run. And I'm leaving this here to show you guys that you can fix a mistake. Even if you get dazed, you can survive until the next reset spot. This is where health stone and potions come in handy. Or if you still got your Void Walker out, you can just get him out and use sacrifice and you will have a lot of absorption. At this reset spot you can either stand on the Vase or stand in between those two walls. Now the mobs were obviously really close to me, so I used the Vase to reset them and then I used the walls to reset the boss. Now we have some downtime. I want to mention it to you guys that if you are a beginner, you are not that skilled in the game, I do not recommend doing this from level 40. Try it at a higher level because this farm gets exponentially easier as you level up. When you are level 44 or maybe even 42, this is gonna get so much easier than it is shown in the video. This is just to show you guys that it can be done at level 40, even with a lot of mistakes. As you progress through the farm, you're gonna get a lot more used to it and you're gonna figure out ways to do it yourself, figure out what's easier, what's working, what's not working. I can tell you that throughout this whole recording I was learning myself. I'm gonna put in a clip where I did it at a later time and it was so much easier even though I was still at level 40. So once you're full, get on your mount and we are going to make our way to the graveyard itself. Same as usual, if you aggro a mob, just face him so you don't get dazed. As you come into the graveyard, the first thing you are going to do is come behind these vases, get off your mount and jump up right here. As you're jumping up, be careful not to stand too close to the wall because you're gonna get stuck and you're gonna jump into the wall. What I recommend doing is just stop, stand, press jump and press forward. If you're pressing forward and trying to jump, you're most likely gonna get stuck into the wall. This was our next reset spot. We got ourselves back up to 100%. Now in this video I summoned Void Walker. You don't have to do that here because you're not gonna be in danger. However, I do recommend summoning the Void Walker after this reset. Usually you don't have to worry about the patrols, but since I was level 40, I thought I would let this guy pass before I pull the mobs. So I just sped up the video here so you guys can see that I waited for the guy to pass. And once he was far enough, you're gonna go into the boss room, and as soon as he aggroes you, you're gonna turn back and start opening these graves. And run behind that vase. As you're running past these graves, you don't have to wait and loot them, you just have to right click it and run forward.
I need to get closer.
So this vase is going to be our next reset spot. As I said, it was done with me to summon the Void Walker at this time, but you could say that it was a safety measure. If anything I would have aggroed, this could have saved me. Here I was just showing you guys that I already did a test run. It was not the best, but it was a good start. So once you're out of combat and you're full, you're gonna come out behind of this vase and summon your Void Walker. This is gonna come really handy at this time. And you're gonna see in the video that I do mess up. I used the Void Walker to taunt some of the mobs, but I did not use sacrifice. Since I'm level 40, I skipped a couple of graves. And the reason for that is because I thought that if I get dazed, as I did in the video, then I want to have enough space to get to the reset spot. And this was a really risky one. You can only do this better than I did in the video. I haven't used sacrifice, but I still made it. And as you have seen, I passed behind that vase, and that is a really nice shortcut you can use to get to the reset spot. So we barely made it. As you can see, we are level 40 only. This, as you progress, as you are higher level, this is gonna get exponentially easier. I'm telling you guys, even one level can make such a huge difference in this farm, guys, that I cannot emphasize it enough. So now comes probably the easiest part of the farm. We are going to open the last bit of graves. These are probably the safest to open, so you don't have to worry about it as much. So you are going to come off this reset spot and you are going to go to the edge of the room and start opening where the last bit of graves are. Here, if you want some extra money, you can loot these graves. You have some extra seconds to spare, but I would not recommend it since it's not that big of a money. So now we progress on and we jump up here to this wall. This is also a reset spot. You're safe here. So now we are going to prepare for the actual kill phase. First, we are going to summon our imp. The reason we are using our imp is because we are going to use blood pack, which will give us some extra HP. HP is important here because we are going to use life step a lot. So once you're out of combat and you've got your imp out, jump up here with your mount. If you've got some spare gear, maybe like of the owl gear with more spirit, you can equip that. But I did not change my gear at all. I used the same gear as I came in with. So now we are going to actually start pulling the mobs. What you can do at level 40, you can just stand by the edge and you will pull them by aggro range. But other than that, you are going to use rank 1 Rain of Fire like this. So now you're gonna make your way back in here. Even if you pull the boss, it's okay. A lot of people called me out on my previous videos that it is okay if you pull the boss because he resets, and that is true. So you do not have to worry about the boss. Use another Rain of Fire there, so you pull the mobs in line of sight. Use another one in the back there, and you are set. So this is the part of the run that requires most of your attention and focus. You can put your imp on stay there so he doesn't run around, but this is the jump that you are going to do throughout the whole run. As you can see, by jumping back and forth, the mobs change direction. The trick is with this jump is that the more time you spend in the middle, airborne, the more the mobs are gonna get stacked up, if they are close enough. If they are too far in the back as they are right now, they won't get stacked up. You have to let them come a bit close, somewhere around the place where the wall and the mountain meets. Do not be surprised, I switched my clip to a stream that I did a couple days ago. And the reason I switched clips is simply because by this time I've already done another run and I've gotten more used to the kill phase, and I can show you a much efficient way how to deal with the mobs. So basically here's the kill phase. What you're gonna do is jump back and forth until they are stacked up, wait for them to reach that spot, that dark little smudge over there, and that's where you're gonna use your Rain of Fire max rank. If you feel like you are using way too much mana, you can use rank 1. And every time you use a Rain of Fire, wait for them to come around, reach the spot which I have talked about. Try to stack them up again. Here you can see that if they are too far back, they won't stack up. You gotta wait for them to come a bit closer, and see, now they are stacking up nicely. So once they are stacked up, you're gonna wait for them to reach the mountain and use another Rain of Fire. This is pretty much what you are going to do throughout the whole kill phase. There are two important things to talk about here. One is your HP and mana regeneration, and the other one is about experience you are going to gain from the mobs. Let's start with your HP and mana. First of all, to get mana, your main ability is going to be life step, obviously. However, HP management should be fine because you have demon armor on. And by the time we are jumping back and forth, we are giving it just enough time to give us plenty of health. You're gonna see that I'm not gonna go down too much in health. And the reason for that is not only demon armor. It's because of the fact that we are not casting any abilities. After 5 seconds of not casting any abilities, your HP and mana regeneration is going to skyrocket because of spirit. If you get impatient during the kill, you can use healing potions to back up your health and spend more mana to kill the mobs. Or you can buy mana potions as well and use those. You are going to see that by the end of this run, I will get a bit impatient and I'm gonna spend all of my health on mana just to be able to finish the mobs off. This whole regenerating is kind of a double-edged sword, which brings us to my next point. How much XP you are going to lose. At level 40, it is not a question whether you are going to lose XP or not. You are going to lose XP for sure. The main question is how much you are going to lose. The main rule of thumb is that if you do not attack a mob for at least 40 seconds, you are going to lose the XP that it's gonna give. And some of these mobs are going to run out of this 40-second time gap. And the only reason for that is simply because you are level 40. They are resisting so much that you cannot avoid losing XP at this level. Obviously, at a later level, this issue will be completely gone. At this time, they are running through your Rain of Fire and they are not getting hit by it. I found one simple way to mitigate this. If you see a mob with a higher HP, just set your imp to shoot it. Not at the start though, because the imp will aggro the mob. So I would say wait until the mobs are at least 80% HP. And then once you see a higher HP mob, just send your imp to shoot it. And switch between the mobs from time to time. So the reason I said the regeneration is a double-edged sword is because you need the time to regenerate, but you are giving the opportunity for the mobs to run out of the 40-second gap, thus losing you XP. However, as I said before, this issue will be completely gone by the time you reach at least level 42. By every level, you are going to notice such a huge, significant difference between resists that it's going to be insane. The same goes for every class that can do this farm. Mages, paladins, shamans, priests, every level is going to make this exponentially easier for you. That's basically everything you need to know about the kill phase. I'm going to give you a couple more tips by the end of the run because the mobs are going to get slower. So now I'm going to speed up the video so you guys can see the whole kill phase. Feel free to skip ahead to the next timestamp if you don't want to watch through this. So here we already managed to kill most of the mobs, but there are still a couple more, and as you can see, they are really slow. The lower percentage of HP these mobs get, the slower they get. So here basically you have two options. Either you are putting your Rain of Fire at the same spot you put it throughout the whole kill phase. Since they are slower, stacking them up and only using this spot can be really risky to your XP because they will take a lot more time to reach the spot. The other thing you can do is not wait for them to come as close and just turn around and hit them right off the bat as I did in the clip right now. Or you can use your Rain of Fire on the mountain now. Since they are going slower, they are gonna get more likely hit by the Rain of Fire. Also, a bonus point is that you will be able to reach all of them and loot all of them. So you will not miss out on any of the loot. Because some of the mobs are quite hard to reach when they die on the mountain like that, as you can see. As you can see, I've spent most of my HP and mana, so this is where potions come in handy when you are trying to finish them off by the end. And you can see that I am losing quite a bit of XP. At level 40, this is not considered a good farm, but at a later level, this is gonna go insane. I would say one complete run will give you at least half a level, and it will also take a lot shorter time to complete it. By the end, you are going to have a couple dead heroes alive. Ignore those, and when you are finished with the mobs, just jump down to this reset spot. The reason I'm saying to ignore the dead hero mobs is simply because they are really high level. They are 45, 46, and they are resisting way too much. These mobs are, by this time, probably are not giving as much XP, and they are really hard to kill at this level. So that's how basically the run goes. I want to emphasize it that this is a level 40 run. This is probably the hardest version of this run. This is only gonna get easier, shorter, and more XP by the time you level up. So if you are someone that is not so confident, you can just do this by level 42, or if you want to do it really safe, you can do this from level 44. But 44 should be plenty to do this. As I mentioned, there are a couple mobs stuck on the mountain. The way you can loot them is by getting on your mount and jumping where I'm jumping and pray for gods to get stuck in there and you will be able to loot the mobs. So that is the full in-depth guide of how this run goes from level 40. You can do this until you are level 52, so this is a really great way to level up. At level 46, you are also getting a new Rain of Fire rank, so that's gonna get a lot easier with that as well. So I really hope I helped you guys with that. If you got any remaining questions, let me know in the comments. I try to do this as full in-depth guide as possible. I tried to include some of the tips that I missed out on my previous videos. If you found this useful, please consider subscribing, and thank you guys for watching, and see you guys around.